Preparing for an abortion isn't just scheduling an appointment. For many people in the Deep South, it means preparing for a journey that requires planning, coordination, and resources that many families simply do not have. Because when care is pushed hundreds of miles away, the cost of abortion becomes much more than the procedure itself. It becomes gas, food, childcare, hotel rooms, lost wages, and time. Time away from work, time away from family, time spent navigating systems that were never designed with our survival in mind.
Okay, so we got, that's backwards, but it's 6 a.m. I am getting ready to leave this hotel room here. My sweater's on backwards. Oh boy. All right, good morning. Just realized my sweater was on backwards in the first shot, but it is 6 o'clock in the morning. It is icy outside apparently. But we are currently packing up the hotel room to head to Atlanta. So I'm in Birmingham right now. Atlanta is a 2.5 hour drive, but there's also an hour time difference. So you basically have to get up an hour earlier than you would like for a 2-hour trip, which kind of sucks. But we're gonna start the road trip to Austin.
Not I got a ticket. Welcome to part 2 of the Road to Care, preparing for the trip. Okay, so for someone watching the series who may need care in the future, what should they expect? They go online, they see Yellowhammer, they give us a call. What are the steps look like?
Yeah, so we're gonna find out where you live. We're gonna find out how old you are, and we're gonna find out if you have an appointment scheduled. If you don't, we're gonna make a referral based on where you're at in your pregnancy and how far you have to travel to receive that type of care. If you can't drive, we're going to look at flights. If you can drive, we're going to look at clinics that are the closest to you. We're then going to figure out if you've got the funding covered. And if not, we're going to work on that, probably with some partner organizations. There's organizations like the National Abortion Fund, the Chicago Abortion Fund, and other funds in the area that will help pay for those costs for you. And whatever they can't help with, we will kick in. And then we're going to look at booking travel for you. So we will need to ask some more intimate questions, things like your full name, your date of birth. But those will only be used to make sure we get you a good flight. And then it's going to look like planning for your travel. I usually tell people, especially if you're flying, to plan to be there the day before your appointment and the day after. I think that makes your travel day easier. It makes it so you don't have to stress. We literally got on the road 4 hours ago, expecting to get back at 8:30. We have stopped once, and our ETA has gone up an hour and a half because of a crash. You don't want to be on a time-dependent appointment, and then you're an hour and a half late, right? So we're going to get you into town the night before so you can just enjoy your trip, which is long and boring, and then get settled and get a good night's sleep before your appointment. We're going to make sure that you have funds to cover your meals while you're on the road. We're going to make sure that you get gas money reimbursed if you have to spend your own gas funds. And if you have to fly into town, we're going to make sure you can afford the really expensive Uber that gets you from the airport to the hotel. That is also an inexpensive part of town. So again, we're going to make sure you got money for Uber Eats or DoorDash. And then from there, you are going to have to get yourself to the clinic, but we'll make sure that you are staying within 10 to 15 minutes of the office you're visiting and that you have the resources you need to get to and from your appointments without issues. And then the really cool thing that we know we have with our partners across Illinois is that the clinics have things they can offer you as well. So let's say you forget to bring, pads with you for the trip and you're going to be bleeding after your procedure. They can send you home in pads. Maybe you forgot to bring sweatpants, not realizing that wearing, your button-up blue jeans all day is going to be pretty uncomfortable. They've got you covered there. And then you're going to have me available via text or phone call or another case manager that can just reassure you, answer any questions. And then if you do run into an issue, we can quickly get you resolved and get you situated and safe and secure. Some issues sometimes people run into is they find out they're further into their pregnancy than they realize because you weren't able to get an ultrasound anywhere safely before you left home. We'll make sure that if your care costs go up or your appointment dates change, that you are covered and you don't have to come back home without receiving care. And then once you get home, I'm going to check in on you. Make sure you're okay. Make sure you got home okay. Make sure you don't have any lingering questions or concerns. If you have aftercare needs, we'll make sure we are making a good referral to someone that can counsel you or support you or help you process the experience you just went through. And we'll stay in touch with you if you want and invite you to come hang out with us at events, but we'll make sure that you're covered the entire way.
As you can see, when someone calls an abortion fund, they're often not just asking for help paying for a procedure. They're asking for help navigating an entire system of barriers. Every call is different, but the need is always rooted in the same truth. People deserve care, and they deserve the resources to reach it. Preparing for the trip is often the hardest part because it requires trusting that the pieces will come together, that the gas money will stretch far enough, that someone will watch the kids, that the road ahead will lead to care, and that when they arrive, someone will be there to meet them with compassion. Yellowhammer Fund, in collaboration and partnership with other abortion funds and abortion clinics, is here to make sure that that road always leads to care and always holds the abortion seeker with dignity and respect.
I think really a huge invisible barrier is what it means to have to leave your home to receive healthcare. I don't think people understand all of the multitudes of steps and processes and risks that opens up for someone. I deal with clients constantly that are struggling to find a time away from work to receive their care. They do not have a job that gives them paid time off, and they probably have an employer who doesn't really tolerate them taking time off either. So finding the time to access that care is difficult. A lot of the people we work with are parents, and they don't want to travel with little kids because that just amplifies the stress, the discomfort, and the potential complications for another human being while you're traveling. So finding childcare, and especially childcare they trust. It's, if you don't know anyone that you trust to watch your kids, it doesn't matter that we have money for it, right? Like you're still without a childcare provider. Additionally, I think a lot of people don't understand that the South is very under-resourced when it comes to public transit. Mm-hmm. We don't have like a bus that can get you from a rural community to a big city if you need to catch a flight. I have had many clients who, because they live far enough away from a major city, we cannot find a ride to get them into the airport. And an hour worth of distance is what stands in between them and accessing abortion care. Additionally, I think there's a lot of stigma and shame in our communities that might leave someone in the dark and unwilling to self-advocate, unwilling to do the type of Google searches and question searching and asking your friends to find out where to get these resources. And with the average cost for an abortion out of state being $700 for the fees, and then the travel being around $1,000, that can feel like an insurmountable barrier to someone who's just struggling to make ends meet day to day.
Across the Deep South, thousands of people are preparing for journeys like this every year. Journeys made possible by community care, by collective support, and by the belief that no one should have to navigate these barriers alone. Because when systems fail us, we take care of each other. And sometimes, survival looks like packing a bag, getting in the car, and trusting that a community is helping guide the way.